Welcome. In this video, we will discuss the topic of online privacy and how to ensure this right in our modern digital context. So what is privacy? It is the freedom from interference with one's beliefs and behavior. So it hinges on the belief that each individual should have the right to believe as they desire, behave in how they wish, to the extent legally permissible, and access and use the information they would prefer to access and use as well, without that being interfered with by an exterior party. We know that data is a highly valuable asset, and that makes it very difficult to ensure privacy. When we interact with sites online, we are constantly being bombarded with threats to our privacy in the form of cookies, of our exchanges with search engines and AI models. And this is all done ostensibly or uh, according to the developers themselves to benefit the users. Because the more data that we can collect about users, the better we can personalize their experience. For instance, if we can track your exchanges with ChatGPT over time, then we can encourage the model to refine its responses to you to be more relevant to your interests or your style, even your personality. And that can be seen as valuable. But the alternative side of that is that this data is being collected, it is being used by this company, and we don't always have a guarantee that it's going to be secured properly, that it's going to be used for ethical purposes, that it's going to be used in the ways that we consent for it to be used, that it's not going to be used to then turn around and share that data to a third party that might try to sell us things, for instance. And so many of us would prefer to keep that data private rather than have it follow us as we navigate from site to site and service to service on the internet. As I mentioned, some of the big threats to online privacy are things like cookies. Those are packets of data that follow you as you go from website to page on the internet. And again, those packets of data are intended, uh, from one viewpoint at least, to be used to improve your experience. So you could potentially, log in to a website on one page, and that login credential is going to follow you throughout various affiliate pages so that you don't have to log in for each separate page you want to view. And that's a positive use of cookies potentially. A more questionable one is when you, for instance, go to Amazon and you search for a specific book that you're interested in reading, and then you go to CNN's website, and suddenly there's a mini ad for that identical book you just searched for. That's more of a questionable use of cookies to follow you from site to site and directly promote uh, a product to you. Browsing and search behavior. Of course, Google, of course, OpenAI, these AI developers are making a lot of money and improving their own services through the use of your data. And of course, they inform you about the data they are collecting and how they may use it, but they often do this through very lengthy and opaque informed consent statements, privacy statements, these kinds of things that nobody's actually taking the time to read. So often, uh, our data is not very private at all online. The companies that are collecting the data are meeting their legal obligations to tell us that they are collecting this data, but they're also making it difficult for us because if we don't agree to certain privacy statements, policies, we may just not have access to the underlying service, which we, after all, is the purpose. We are at that site and want to use that site. So, what are some privacy enhancing measures that we can take to potentially still access the content we want to access, but give us a little bit heightened privacy or security while we're online, giving us a peace of mind that we're doing our best to prevent unauthorized use of our data? Well, there are some mainstream services. Brave is just a browser that enables a lot of different options available um, on other browsers. I mean, Internet Explorer, Firefox, Google Chrome have some of these options, but they're enabled by default on Brave. So it's giving you the most secure, private experience as a default. DuckDuckGo is a private, secure search engine that does not track you from search to search as you're engaging in different searches on its engine. You can utilize options like HTTPS everywhere. That's just going to use the most secure version of every website when you access it to protect your data. And then we have options like the dark web, which I'll talk about in more detail in another video. And those services through platforms like Tor are going to provide you the most private experience, down to the fact that they will not be able to identify who you are while you're accessing these sites because of the ways in which the dark web networking works, which obfuscates, hides uh, where and what device you are accessing these services from. So these are but a few resources, and there are many more, and I encourage you to research those if this is of particular importance or interest to you. Before we go, there are a few additional resources that I would encourage you to take a look at. And there are two here that I want to mention, and both of these are linked in the description for this video. The first is an article from IBM on data privacy practices, and the state of data privacy online. So it'll give you an idea of the scope and breadth of the issue of online privacy. The second is from LexisNexis, and that is a guide to drafting a privacy policy. It'll give you an idea of what goes into a privacy policy, while also giving you some guidance if you're looking to create a privacy policy for your website, your organization, on what should go into that kind of statement. What's kind of filler that creates these very lengthy and unnecessary statements, and what is absolutely necessary to disclose to users. So thank you very much for watching this video. I appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the next recording.